weekend. I thought it was a really good win. Really proud of our defense. There's a lot of preparation that goes into playing a team like Air Force, and it goes all year long. And I just thought our defense did a really good job of preparing and handling the different looks that they were going to get in the game. Gabe Kurtzke played his best game since he's been a Ram. Really proud of him. We had a lot of great performances by some really young, good players. Dylan Phelps came in at corner and really did some great things. Kende played well. Kennedy McDowell got his first sack. And the guys inside you don't get a lot of statistical recognition. Cam Baratow, James Mitchell, Will Pendergrass, all those guys inside really banged and played great. Chase Wilson, Jack Howell ran all over the field and made a bunch of hits and tackles. So really proud of our effort defensively. Our coaches did a great job getting our guys ready. That was really, really important. We did some good things on offense. Avery had a good game. Really proud of Caleb Goody, the way he stepped up, made a big play in the game. Jalen Dupree, as a young kid, came in and really shined for us and showed a lot of promise at running back. Our offensive line did another really outstanding job. So really good team performance, really good team effort. Obviously, we hadn't won up there in Colorado Springs for 22 years. So it was important for us to go up there and win. So really proud of the effort of our team. I'm really proud of how they prepared the last month. The last 4 games, we've had a serious approach to our preparation, and that's got to continue. We got a big challenge this week playing a really good New Mexico team. They're a team with a new coaching staff. Bronco Mendenhall is a veteran coach, really knows what he's doing. Done a great job of improving his team every week. They've got better every week. They're a tough team to play against right now. Really dynamic offensively, scored a bunch of points the last 3 weeks. Their top offensive players are quarterback. Dampier is really dynamic. He can run, he can throw. He's a problem on the perimeter. We got to do a good job of him. Their wide receiver, Widesong, 50 receptions. Their running back, Eli Sanders, is having a good year. So they've got some quality skill players that are dangerous, and they're getting them involved, and they play fast. So really important that we handle that, have a great day defensively. Their defense now, their safeties are both super active. They love to pressure and blitz. Christian Ellis is their strong safety, and Avinger, their free safety number 1. Both super active players. Their defensive end, Tutili is also a very, very disruptive force for them. They do a lot of things on defense. Pressure quite a bit, more than 50% of the time. Almost seem like they do a different game plan every game for every opponent that they play. So we have to do a good job of identifying where they're coming from, where their pressures are coming from. Our preparation this week is really going to be critical. We're in the second half of the season now. We got 3 more home games, and getting the chance to come back to campus is huge. It's homecoming. We just encourage our students to come out and really make a difference. Our home field advantage is really an advantage, and it could be huge for us coming down the stretch. So we just want our students to come out and support us, want our fans to come out and support this football team. Got a chance to make another step forward and accomplishing something special this year. So really looking forward to coming back to campus.
It's a lot, but he's our leading rusher. How do you defend a guy like that when it's not just all designed runs, it's his ability to scramble?
Well, you got to be sound, and you have to be disciplined, and you can't play plays. You have to play defense, and that's really important. I think that you follow your rules. Everybody has their responsibility. The thing that I'm proud about, what the progress we've made as a team, is that we're playing well fundamentally. And that's really important when you play a team like this that's been hot on offense or scoring a bunch of points. We've got to play sound And we got to take advantage of opportunities. They've had some issues with turnovers, and we got an opportunity to take the ball away this week. And whether that's in the pass game or forcing fumbles, we got to do a great job fundamentally. We got to be physical on these guys, and we got to be disruptive. We're starting to see some disruption from our defense, sacking the quarterback, creating turnovers, and that's going to be really big this week.
You kind of flipped the script this week. Last week, it was a team you playing, you hadn't beat them in a while. This is a team you haven't lost to in a while, but they come in kind of hot on a streak. How do you mentally approach a game with your team? It's like, yeah, you beat them 12 straight times, but different year.
Don't even talk about it, to be honest with you. We are looking at it as our opportunity. We want to be a team that doesn't look at the outcome, that doesn't look at the things surrounding the game. We just want to think about our preparation, and couldn't wait to get in a meeting today and talk to our guys about where we're at, what we need to do to continue to prepare the way we have been. And so it's all about what we can do and what's in front of us, our daily habits, and how we practice and prepare. And so we just jump right back into that.
You've talked about that preparation. How important is it for college-age kids to get the reward in wins to see, why it's so necessary?
It is important. It is important that they see progress in the things that we're asking them to do. We really try to take all the drama out of it. We got about 7 things we do every day, and practice is really important. Get better at practice, watching tape for 30 minutes a day, improving there. Your active recovery and your sleep at night are so important. And if we can keep those guys in that routine and doing that every day, then they're going to be ready to practice again the next day and really prepare themselves for the game. And and then Saturdays, you got to come alive and really hunt. And so our guys have been doing that the last few weeks. We got to continue to do it, And we haven't accomplished anything that we really want to accomplish yet. So we got all of our goals that we're working for on a daily basis, and our next goal is to beat New Mexico.
You mentioned how much New Mexico brings the blitz. How crucial does a guy like Jacob Gardner out in center, who can kind of look at those coverages, call out the blitz, become on Saturday?
I think Jacob's done a great job, and Braden and Jacob, they work really hard at that. They study that together. I think our quarterbacks and our offensive line have met more this year than we have, but they're all on the same page in the run game and the pickup. So, Jacob is just like a quarterback of the line. He sees the field, he makes the calls. He's done a great job of that. I think a lot of our success that we've had in the run game is because we identify who we're blocking and we cover them up. And it's the same thing as pass protection. So that's going to be really important this week.
You obviously liked Kershey. You brought him into the program, but does he have maybe even a higher ceiling than you guys anticipated?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit for him. We really felt like he was a young player that was emerging. He had length, he had work ethic and character. And boy, he just gets better every day. He's bought into all the things we talked about routine-wise, of preparing, watching film, getting in the training room, working with the strength coaches in recovery, all those things. He's totally bought in. Matter of fact, I read a bunch of his examples today in the team meeting of what he does on a daily basis. And we just have a lot of guys that are working really hard, and some good young guys that are doing it. Jalen Dupree's one of those guys. Owen Long's one of those guys. And so really proud of Kursky. He's becoming a leader on our team, and I think his best football's in front of him.
When you look at them, they're one of the nation's leaders in plays of 10 or longer. Is this a game where you feel like you have to out-explosive them, and by doing so, that fundamental defense keeps them from being explosive?
I think it all works together. I think a lot of statistics are overblown, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, people get excited, and we've been that team. We've been the team with the flashy stats and not a lot of wins, and that's not always a good thing. And so the important stats, we like to control the football. We want runs and completions. We have to do a better job of not turning the ball over, and that's one thing. We've done a good job with the interceptions, but it's the fumbles that have really hurt us. Braden's cut his interceptions way down. The fumbles, we got to secure that ball, and that ball's got to be given to the official after every play. And eliminating explosive plays defensively, keeping their rushes per attempts down. That's what we've really been focusing on, and the game is manageable when you do that. And so those are the things that we're really focusing on. We want to keep getting those numbers in our favor and increasing our odds to win.
You mentioned the defense, starting to be a little bit more disruptive, takeaways and stuff. Is that anything kind of schematic that's changed, or more execution, or where do you pinpoint that?
I think it's just a product of us continuing to emphasize the same things. The way we practice is starting to show up in games. The physicality that we practice with, the individual group drills that we're doing, pods, one-on-ones, perimeter drill. We're seeing less penalties, and we're seeing more physical fundamental play. And I think it's just starting to show on film. We talked a lot today about how many hats can we get on the ball defensively, how many hits can we get on the ball carrier, how many extra effort blocks. We want to play old school football, and I challenged the team that last week. How many extra effort blocks can you get? How many times can you go pick the backup after a running play? Tanner Morley had like 11 pickups where he was hustling to go get the back and pick them up and go back to the huddle. That's what we want to be as a team. And so just starting to see it show up, and down the stretch, that's the way we got to play every Saturday with great energy.
You mentioned the fumbles. How challenging of an evaluation is that, especially with guys like Winfield, Morrow, who are making plays? Yep. But obviously those are pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, we've got some new skill players, and that's the biggest thing. It's the oldest saying in football: good football players don't fumble. You don't fumble. And so we just got to protect the ball, respect it, understand how important it is when you're in the open field. And we can't carry the ball loosely. We just can't, and sometimes a guy's going to put his hat on the ball. You just got to do a good job of securing it, and that was a tough one on the first drive. The last 3 weeks we've driven the ball down, and we were getting ready to go, especially driving it into the wind. When you can drive the football down the field into the wind, boy, that gives you a great advantage offensively. And so, and to lose that on the half-yard line just as a gut shot. And so just got to do a better job, and we'll emphasize it, and we'll practice it, and we'll work it in practice.
You talked Saturday about the fourth quarter. Obviously, some of the injuries, how it impacted you. How did you come out, health-wise?
Yeah, we still, Jalen Gardner got dinged a little bit. Hopefully he'll be okay. We lost Peter Montini, and the biggest thing about that is at the beginning of the year, I always have our backup stand up, and I say, listen, at some point you're going to start. The team's going to call on you to be prepared to play, and you have to be ready. And we didn't do a good job of that in the second half of the game. When we lost a couple of players, the guys that came in, there just wasn't the same continuity, and we have to do a better job of stepping up. And when guys get dinged and we lose a quality player like Peter, but I think Newer's going to be okay. He's not 100% yet, and but those are the three guys: Peter, Newer, and Jalen Gardner. I'm hoping we can get them back by Saturday.
You mentioned Owen Long earlier too, and also Dupree. Morley's come in and had to start because of injury. You've had some young guys that weren't part of the picture earlier that are becoming more of the picture. How important is that to keep adding to your depth as the season goes along?
It's huge. Those kids came in and really added to what we were doing. Owen came in on defense and he was flying around, and he kind of took that rover spot once Jalen got hurt, and there was no drop off when he got in there. Jalen Dupree, you guys have seen Dupree. We put him in the game, we make yards. There's no drop off when he gets in the game. And so, but also it's interesting when I look at those guys off the field, they're always studying. They're always asking questions. They're taking notes. They're watching film. They're doing all the things that help them prepare to play. So it's not a mystery that they play well, and that's one of the things that we continually try to point out to the team is that when you do these things, you play well. Yeah. And it's not a mystery why you play well. You prepare, and so I'm just really proud of those young guys. Those are young players. Owen Long was one of the last players we recruited, and we recruited him late in January last year, and he's one of the best players we recruited in this class. And Dupree, he's just been chomping at the bit to play every chance he gets, and so really excited about those young guys. The contribution they make this second part of the season is going to be really important.
Phelps in that regard too, right?
Yes.
I know most cornerback you like to have 3 guys that you can rotate. Now you've got a 4th that you kind of throw into the equation. What has Dylan done to kind of force himself into that?
Really physical, and we've needed that at the corner position. We've needed more physicality. He played that way Saturday. Big interception, and that was just, keeping his eye, covering his man, but also playing the ball really well. And that was a big turnover in the game. So he's going to play more. Those kids are also really good special teams players, and that's going to be an important thing. Air Force, they really kind of try to take that part out of the game. They really don't try to return the ball. And so it was kind of a wash in this last game. But that's going to be more and more important as we move forward.
When did you also figure out that Braden could punt? And,
yeah.
Everyone he's had is inside the 20.
Those were really big plays. The field position in this game, it really adds up. And to make those guys have to drive the length of the field, I thought that was just great execution on the Pirate punt. And I was just hoping Vince would see it. It didn't look like he saw it till the very last second. But, that was great execution. We'll continue to use that when we can. Thanks, guys.
So when you look at New Mexico as an offensive team right now, they've been very explosive, and their quarterback is also their leading rusher. How do you kind of look and face an offense like that to keep everything somewhat contained?
Well, you just got to do a good job. We know he likes to run the ball a lot, and that's why we recruit the way we do. We have really, really fast DNs, really fast linebackers. We're trying to keep contained on them. When you got a quarterback that can run and throw the ball, you want to keep him in the pocket as much as you can. I think on the year, it's like 53 pressures with like one time being on the ground, and then a few other times him I think it's like 2-3 other sacks of him just running out of bounds. So you want to do your best, just keeping him in the pocket and just make him throw the ball as much as possible.
You did talk about how defensively you guys have been playing very sound fundamental. How important is it to approach a team that has so many explosive plays in that regard?
Well, if you look at our schedule, we play a bunch of teams that are very explosive as well, and it really just comes down to being fundamental and knowing your job, because we're going to do our best to try and limit the explosives and try to move the ball down the field, as much plays as possible, or things like that. So.
Drew, I know at one point I talked to you and you said you don't want to be just a big dumb guy who goes out and blocks. How big of an emphasis has there been with the entire offensive line this year just on that more mental side of the game?
Oh yeah, we think about that a lot. We try to make sure Jacob, obviously, he has a big job in his hand, like running the offense through him, especially our run game. So him being able to do that and all of us communicating everything at all times, that's one of those key factors in being able to be sound mentally.
What is the staff kind of emphasizing defensively? I know Jay mentioned they like to bring a lot of pressure from the secondary.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of pressure, and then they also do a whole bunch of fronts as well. So like I said, the mental, we got to be ready for all those fronts and be able to communicate.
Drew, how important was it to get that win Saturday? Kind of the reward of kind of the work you guys are putting in to get the trophy and all that.
It felt good, but obviously, like that fourth quarter, we let that just slip away from us. That was a big letdown for the offense. Defense got multiple turnovers and gave us a position to end that game, and we just did not. So we want to be able to complement the defense and freaking do our job.
Yeah. What do you feel kind of led to that in the fourth? What do you need to clean up?
I think just mentally. I don't know if it's meant. I don't really know. We gotta communicate and just be able to make plays. That's all there is to it for the offense. We gotta start drives, end games. that's what we got to keep doing.
Is that maybe another step in the development of this program of, know how to win games, finish games like that when you're in the league?
Definitely, 100%. That was just, we let that slip away. That's all I can say about that.
You go into a game from last week where you hadn't beaten them in a while. This week you haven't lost to this team in 12 straight tries. How do you approach that game type of mentally? Does that become part of the equation, or do you just push it aside?
No, we don't care at all. I mean, the Air Force game's over too, so I mean, all we care about is the New Mexico Lobos. That's all. We don't care about any records or anything else with winning.
You've also had some young players kind of come through when their time is needed. Owen Long, Dylan Phelps, offensively, Dupree, Tanner's had to step into a big role. How impressive is it for you guys to look and see young guys keeping up the pace and taking advantage of their opportunity when they get it?
Well, I kind of just think it's the way they practice, the way they come to, practice every day. You could tell everybody on the defense, everybody on the offense, they're locked into what they need to do, and they're just waiting for the opportunity. And I feel like Owen, guys like that really took advantage of that. And a lot of guys, when their opportunity comes, they're gonna take advantage of it as well. So I think that's a trend that's gonna keep on happening.
What type of growth have you seen out of Kershke this season? Because he's obviously coming off of a massive performance.
Well, to start, like before fall camp, like during fall camp, we knew he was gonna be a great player. This is a matter of time before it starts showing up as much as it does, and he has the potential to be that type of player every single game. And like the defense, we were very surprised about that because he does that in practice every day. So it's kind of just I'm just really happy for him, and I just know he's going to continue to keep doing that, and that's what we need out of him. Some people coming back from injury, stuff like that. So I'm excited for him. He's going to keep progressing and keep doing what he's doing.
What makes him a great player, though? Jay mentioned that he's really meticulous with his prep and stuff. What makes him a great player?
I think he plays really hard. He's a really skilled player. He comes to practice and he plays super hard. He does the things he has to do, and it's been showing up in practice. Like, hey, coach has been talking about it, like what we do to prepare for every week, things we're doing every day, the recovery, the prep time, the film you're watching, the time you're taking to work on your skills and stuff like that. And Gabe is one of those guys who he's doing that all the time, and it shows up, starting to show up in games. So like a lot of our team, coaches are saying like, hey, this is an example of what we're trying to do for everybody else on our team, and I'm just happy for him.
Drew, how do you feel about the offense having that blend of being able to like grind out some drives with the run game the way you have been, but then you have guys like Caleb who can make that explosive play? How close are you to being that team that's kind of not only just balanced run pass, but grind and blow up?
No, yeah, obviously the first thing we want to do is be able to grind and get the run game going and make those passes, but it is nice to have those explosive players and know that and be confident in those guys to go make those plays.
You kind of, over these next couple months, it obviously starts to get a lot colder and that run game becomes more important. Just how excited are you as you start to get colder, or as the weather starts to get colder, to go into that kind of run first kind of weather?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We get excited for every game. Like, we want to put the offense on our shoulders and be able to go kill some guys. So that's just a bigger opportunity for us, and we love that.
We've seen New Mexico kind of get on a roll. They've scored 50-plus points the last 3 weeks. What jumps out to you about them when you watch them on tape?